Howdy, folks. I'm Tantalizing Tantalum, throwing terrible, tumultuous tantrums.
I'm Amber.
And here are more tantrums for us to throw because we're all tantalum today. Let's get started. Alright, folks, our first letter on this Monday morning is titled, I'm a 42-year-old male and my wife is a 39-year-old female, and she's upset because I ruined her weekend. It's been weeks and she won't talk to me. How can I make things go back to how it used to be? After a few weekends ago, my wife wanted to celebrate a milestone of our oldest child being fully potty trained and the youngest weaned and fully on solid foods. Yes, I know it's ridiculous to celebrate that. Please don't ask me why. And in order to celebrate, she wanted to take a long weekend from her job and take a vacation in a city a few hours away. In the city, they were having a musical festival that she wanted to go to, and a restaurant that she wanted to try. I told her that I would join her because I have a long weekend too, and I wanted to take a vacation. She didn't seem to like it, but she didn't stop me. The weekend comes, the kids are at the grandparents', and we are heading to the stop. My first mistake was driving us. She planned on taking the train and using a rental bicycle to travel around. I told her that was ridiculous, and our car is better. She was upset with me because there's a lot of traffic, and we arrived at the location 7 hours later than the train, so she missed the musical festival. When we got to the hotel, I was exhausted from driving all day, and I was a bit sick because I stopped at a drive-thru and I ate too much, so I was gassy and I just wanted to relax. She wanted to go on a late night walk around town, but I felt that it was too dangerous. I told her that we should just relax in bed and watch a movie. I also felt sick and needed some care. She agreed and stayed in. When I woke up the next day around noon, she was gone. I called her and I found out that she took a rental bike and went to a nearby area for a hike. She left me a note, but didn't see it. I drove to the area and I found her chatting with a group of people. I admit I got upset and I started yelling. I told her to get in the car. She did. She told me that I embarrassed her. I told her that I was still sick and I was heartbroken to find out that she had left me. I went back to the room and I asked her just to hang out in the room with me and relax. She took a nap and I watched a movie. After she woke up, she told me that she wanted to go to the dinner at a restaurant that she wanted to try. It was a seafood restaurant. I don't like seafood that much, but I agreed to go. When we got there, I looked at the menu and everything looked disgusting. I asked if they had burgers and I was told no. So I said that I wasn't going to eat. I told my wife to order and I would just order a drink. She told me that if I wasn't going to eat, that we could just leave. I looked up a sports bar which had great reviews, and we enjoyed a nice meal. I once again felt a little sick after eating too much food and wanted to return to the room. She said no, and she left and took a walk. She turned her phone off because it went to voicemail every single time I called. She returned to the room almost at midnight. She told me that she wanted to get dessert back at the seafood restaurant, and the waitress told her about a movie in the park. My wife decided to see a movie in the park instead of a movie back in our room. I was annoyed with her. I called her inconsiderate and selfish. I told her not to talk to me at all the next day. Checkout was at 11, and I woke up at 10:30 to see that my wife had already left. She had a note that said, I took the train. She left me there to clean up my things alone and to drive all the way back home alone. Traffic was terrible again, so I got home pretty late. I walked in and I ignored her. I was waiting for her to apologize, but 2 days went by and she didn't acknowledge me at all. I talked to my buddy about it, who said that she was probably cheating and that she was going to use that weekend to hook up with some guy. So on the third day of silence, I confronted her. I asked her if she was cheating, and is that why she was upset because I ruined her romantic getaway? She just laughed at me. Then went on a rant about how she needed a break and didn't want to have to take care of anyone. That I don't help with the kids or around the house. Excuse me if I'm tired after work. We argued back and forth, and I told her not to talk to me until she apologizes. It's been a month. She doesn't even prepare meals or clean for me. I decided to wash my expensive work suits in the washer with bleach. She didn't care. I told her that I was sick because I ate only takeout. She didn't care. I told her that my back was hurting because I've been sleeping in the guest room, which has a twin bed. She didn't care. If I leave takeout boxes in the living room, she cleans up by putting the boxes in my bed. I don't know why she's still upset over a stupid weekend trip. I don't know what to do to make things go back to normal. All right, folks, what advice do we have for OP here to make sure things go back to normal?
Start being an adult. Like, it sounds like she has 3 children to look after, not 2. OP has the impulse control of a 5-year-old. Like, I understand wanting to eat foods you like, but eating himself sick on 2 different occasions in the same trip and then expecting her to baby him?
Well, okay. I think there was a lot wrong here.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I mean, certainly like him not controlling himself and eating to the point where he gets sick is certainly one thing. But she had a trip all planned out that she wanted to do, and he just wanted to sit in the hotel and watch movies.
Right, and he demanded everything be catered to him. Like, oh, well, you want to take the train, well, I want to drive, and we're going to drive.
Yeah.
And, oh, well, you want to go to the seafood restaurant, fine, but I don't like anything on the menu, so let's go to a sports bar instead. Like,
Yeah.
she had designed this trip so she would not have to cater to anyone, and she spends the entire trip catering to OP.
Yeah.
And on the occasions when she's not catering to him, he goes and has a tantrum and tells her, get in the car, or I'm not talking to you until you apologize.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that I think OP is missing out on here is that he literally told her not to talk to me until she apologizes. And so I can kind of understand her silent treatment in that respect, because it's literally, don't talk to me until you apologize. Why would she talk to him at that point in time? Because he's laid out the ultimatum, right?
Right. Well, and it sounds like he does nothing. Like, she has to do all the housework. She has to do all the childcare because he's tired. Newsflash, OP, your wife is tired too. That's why she needed this milestone vacation.
Well, and that's just it. And, you know, she's been taking care of these kids for a long time, and it sounds like you're not doing a lot, and it sounds like she needed a vacation, and she was even willing to bring you along on this vacation, but then you went and ruined it for her. Like, this wasn't anything that she wanted to do, it was all what you wanted to do, and you complained anytime she deviated from what you wanted to do, even though it was her trip.
And so I hope things do not go back to the way they were before, because it was not a good situation for her. OP, you have to step up and start being an equal partner and doing things around the house, not expecting your wife to handle everything and to cater to you. Do things that she likes. Buy her things that she likes.
Yeah.
Go to places that she likes to eat, even if they're not your favorite.
Yeah, well, okay, so if OP really wants things to start going back to normal, which I think he means her actually talking to him, then I think what you need to do, OP, is you need to reflect inwardly upon yourself, understand why what you did was so harmful, and apologize to your wife and say that I was wrong to demand you to apologize because you were trying to enjoy your weekend and I ruined that for you. So I'm sorry. I should not have ruined your weekend for you. And I think that's a good place to start. And then from there, maybe you two should go into couples counseling and start actually learning how to work together as a team. And I'm putting that part heavily on you because it seems like you don't know how to be a team player.
Right, and drop your friend. Like, if his answer is, oh, she's cheating, clearly he doesn't know, doesn't understand this relationship. Like, do not go to him for advice anymore, because it's very clear to everyone reading this letter that she is just burnt out from looking after 2 actual children and an overgrown child.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck, OP. You're gonna need it.
Good luck to OP's wife.
Yeah, she's gonna need it more. And Cornelius Treat 888 says, just wow, you are so lucky to even have a wife. I have no more words. And OP replies, what are you talking about? The fact that OP doesn't even understand why they would not have a wife right now is actually scary.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he thinks he's a real catch, but this is like a nightmare scenario for the poor wife.
Yeah. And Cornelius Treat 888 replies, okay, your partner envisioned a nice getaway for herself. You decided to join in. Everything she wanted to do was ruined by your behavior. You're overreacting. Your constant gut issue due to you overeating, you're napping to recover from driving while she wanted a train ride, and you're overeating. You basically forced her to do everything your way and humiliated her when she tried to grab a little time for herself, so the weekend wasn't a total loss. You don't sound like a fun companion on a holiday. The whole weekend screams of a total lack of respect for your partner. Things will never go back to normal. Aren't you sorry you asked? Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not wanting to buy a house with my wife? My wife and I have been married for about 2 years and have been renting the entire time we've been together. We've talked about buying a house together in the future, but the problem is that she can't save any money. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment because she needs 1 bedroom to be a walk-in closet, and she has the newest iPhone, an Apple Watch, AirPods, and the AirPods Max. She just bought herself a Tesla while I'm driving a 2015 Honda. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. In fact, I'm perfectly okay with her spending her own money because we're both young and she deserves to enjoy life. Recently, her aunt announced that she'll be moving into a retirement community and she will be selling her house. Since they are close, she offered to sell it to us before listing it. She wants $75,000 down and is willing to finance the purchase for us. Honestly, it's a good deal, but the problem is that my wife has less than $500 saved, so I'll have to pay the entire $75,000. The monthly payment for the house will be more than our rent, so I'll have to cover the difference as my wife can't pay more. Then there's a yearly $65,000 in property tax, which I will have to pay myself. Lastly, the house will need a new roof, which will cost around $18,000. She and her aunt are talking like it's a done deal, but all I see is a bunch of money that I'll have to pay on my own. I told her Friday that we should pass on this one. She kept saying that it was a great deal, and it is, that we've always planned on getting a house to start our family. After hours of discussion, I got tired and I told her that we will get a house when she can get past her spending phase and start saving. I pointed out all the costs and listed above why, and she was really hurt. She cried and said that we're supposed to be a team and then went to bed. She hasn't spoken to me since Friday night, and we're supposed to go to her parents for dinner tonight. Her aunt will be there, and I know the house thing will come up. Am I wrong for not wanting to buy a house myself? Update. Hi all, thanks for reading. I'm going to answer some of your questions. I'm 29 and she's 25. We both work full time. She makes about $85,000 and I make about $150,000. Her aunt got several quotes on the roof. The roof is old, not damaged, so the insurance won't cover it. I've never owned a house, so I don't know how it works, but that's what she told us. There are other things that the house needs to be done to it, but the roof is the immediate need. The insurance guy said that it needs to be done before the current coverage runs out, and they offered new coverage. She went to a realtor and had the house appraised. She offered to sell us the house below the appraised price and finance without any interest, which is why I said it was a good deal. Our current rent is $13,000. Dinner is in 3 hours, and I'll update again if you have more questions or something happens at dinner. I'm trying to read all of your comments. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
No, I don't think OP is the jerk. I mean, his wife is right that it needs to be a team effort, but it seems like she's the one who's not being the team player here. Like, I understand wanting to have nice things, but you can't simultaneously spend all your money and expect your partner to finance everything.
Well, I think that there needs to be a discussion about how they can afford this house, and I think that him sitting down with her and saying, look, let's actually make a budget and see how we can afford this, because right now I don't feel comfortable about how we can afford this, especially since I'm going to have to put down all of this money. And since we have separate finances, this will be kind of an undue burden on me. So why don't we figure this out? And I think that that would have been a little bit more of a diplomatic approach.
Well, I mean, I think at this point in time, they just have to let the house go because it sounds like the sale has to come soon. And if he puts that 75 down, like, he's going to be on the hook for everything. There's no incentive for his wife to save the money. Like, if they were saving for a down payment together, then she would have to show something for it. But my concern is if he goes ahead and pays the $75,000, they're locked in.
Yeah.
And then, like, what incentive is there for her to not keep expecting him to pay for everything?
I think that that's a really good point, and I don't know how they're financing this because it sounds like the aunt is just willing to let them have the house and they'll pay her because she said it's a 0% interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little bit of a risky move because with family and money, it's always a hard thing. If OP doesn't want this house at all, and that's understandable given the circumstances, then, I think that the wife is just going to have to take no for an answer, right?
Well, I mean, a house should be a two yeses, one no type of
Mm-hmm.
situation. And yeah, I cannot fault Opie for having concerns about this. And again, like, even after talking to her, it doesn't sound like she has any inkling to change. She just expects him to finance everything.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's the case, then I don't think OP should go for this because it's going to be not a good deal, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Ornery Octopus says, Sir, there's no way to say this. You have chosen a wife very, very imprudently. This woman will lead you to financial ruin before you can even believe it. You are enabling someone who believes that she's entitled to live beyond her means at any cost, even if that means she'll drag you down with her. This is someone who doesn't understand the concept of self-regulation or telling herself no. She lives for an instant gratification. You will end up in a mountain of bills that you'll never be able to dig yourself out of. You'll be constantly at the beck and call of creditors, collection agencies, etc. That will be your fate. Do with that what you will. A Tesla with $500 to her name, for goodness sake, open your eyes, not the jerk. I mean, I think this person brings some okay points, but I'd also think that money isn't everything. But if she wants to be financially responsible, she can do things like sell her Tesla, right? Like, selling her Tesla would be able to give her some of that money for a down payment right there, right? And, trading it down for a different vehicle. And there are other things that I'm sure she could sell or that she could, end up reducing her costs in some way, shape, or form. There's plenty of room here for budgeting, and I don't think that this is a lost cause, but I do think that OP and her need to sit down and work on her budget so that she can figure out exactly how to not, end up making herself bankrupt.
Yeah, well, it's a tricky thing because, like, she definitely would need a major lifestyle adjustment
Mm-hmm.
yesterday to make this really work.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's so hard to get someone to, like, start living within their means when they're already kind of overextending themselves
Yeah.
and tone it back down. So I feel like this is going to be more of a long-term ongoing struggle.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily impossible, but she has to be willing to make adjustments to her lifestyle
Oh, yeah.
and to accept that, like, OP has needs too. Like, seems very self-centered and she's only concerned about getting what she wants, and that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't bode well for a partnership.
No, it really doesn't. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she allegedly has a joke, but it doesn't look like it. She's flipping to the page. Will she get to it in time?
First zombie, I'd like to take you out. Second zombie, over my dead body.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that works.
Yeah, I was open to a joke at random because I realized I didn't have the joke book. I was like,
It almost relates to like the one we did the other day where he wants to drag her to the wedding.
mm,
So that's kind of like what sprang to mind on that one. The one where we're like, he's going to propose to her at the
mm-hmm.
wedding, and I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday. I hope your Monday is going well. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a vacation slogan.
Welcome to Vacations Are Us, now offering new service. Get rid of your annoying partner. Just leave them at the front desk and we will find ways to keep them entertained so you could have the vacation of your dreams.
Okay, well that went in a slightly horrifying curve at first, and then back to the normal. I was worried where that was going, but I think we ended up somewhere that is an okay moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
We'll take care of your partner for you.
Just give him an all-you-can-eat buffet and let him deal with himself.
My tummy hurts.